What is going on? Can you hear the music in the background?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Oh man, is that?
It's coming in and out though.
Oh, okay, well that's fine. Hopefully it'll
This
be.
is how we start off the new year, Jared.
That's right.
This is how I do it.
That's right. That's fine.
It was
I've
some
been having
technical
internet
difficulty.
issues this morning. Chris has been having microphone issues, which is, I
Yep.
mean, but dadgummit, we're gonna record a show and
Yep. Nonetheless, we're
gonna make it work. We are going to make this work. This is Whiskey with an AJ. What episode is this?
I think we're on 25.
25?
I think so.
25, 26. I don't know. We'll put it. It'll be in the description once I figure it out. This is something we should probably know, but I mean, that's fine.
I think we're okay.
Dude, what's been going on, man? It's been a while. Like our last show was last year, like mid-December, I think.
Was it in December? Yeah, I think it was December because one of our last shows we were talking about investments and how we were going to talk more about our investment strategies and what we've been doing. So, and then what I was doing is that the missus and I, we had bought an investment property not far from us for a short-term rental. And so for the past month since we've closed on it, literally for the month, we have been working on it every single day, every night. I think there's only been 2 days where we didn't work on it. And last night I had to commit some hours to some work, and Bethany went to go and did a lot of work at that house last night.
Wow.
So it ended up being, when we bought the property, it didn't seem all that much, but then when you start digging into things, yeah, there's actually a lot that needs to be done, especially when you're trying to bring it to a certain expectation for a short-term rental.
Yeah.
But we're hopeful to be done here soon.
When do you think you'll be able to get it out on, what are you gonna do, VRBO, Airbnb, that kind of thing?
Yes, all that.
So like when you have like a deadline, like we're getting it done by this day.
So I have this false sense of reality that we can get it done within the next 8 days.
Oh, okay. So basically you work like, 16-hour days, nothing but getting it ready, right?
Well, we both work, so we have our day jobs. I do real estate, she does lending. So, and
come on, who works
when she
anymore?
punches, shut up. When she punches out at 5:30, we're at the property by like 6:15. And then we've been working until like the latest we've worked till I think was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then last night she pulled a really late night last night. So I know she's feeling it this morning. But it's just what we got to do. It's what we have to do. We don't have time. Time is money.
Yeah, time is money. I mean, that's when it comes to when you're doing investments. I mean, it's you got to get this stuff done. Otherwise, you're in the red. You're in the red until you start making some money.
I tell you what, man, this has been probably one of the most rewarding things. Even though it's like very exhausting, we're both pretty exhausted. It's very rewarding, and like we've learned so much, and we have like, we know what we can do with our hands now. It's incredible. You just apply the work. So it's been very rewarding on a mental level. Physically, I haven't felt the reward yet, just not a pain.
Right. I'm sure there's some frustrations that go along with it though too. I mean, you start doing stuff and you're like, you really didn't know how to do it in the beginning, but then so you're like racking your brain, you're trying different methods, and you're like, oh, why won't this work? I run into that, when I'm building stuff, and it's like, what's going on? Like, but then, that sweet reward when you finally figure it out, and you're like, oh, that looks so good. Or in my case, it looks good enough.
Good enough gets the job done. But it's we've had a couple of setbacks, and we encountered 2 the other night, and one of them was like for the doors. We took off the doors, we sanded the doors because this is a 1920 house. So like these doors are old, they're wood, and they're heavy, and so we sanded them down so it helped the paint adhere a little better.
Okay.
And when we put the doors back on, we were like, yes, doors, and they won't close. Like the hinges are off, the door frames are shifted from the house.
Oh man, that's a pain.
And so now, like, we got to take the doors off. We bought a not so much as a filer or a sander, but there's like these shavers that you can shave
Yeah.
off like a
Yep.
good amount. And so
Yes. I've done that. Yep.
Bethany bought one, and we're gonna go to Shave Town soon and
Yeah.
try
Dude,
to
it's
taper off these doors so
yep.
they can
So they
close.
so they fit. Yeah, I've
Mhm.
done that before where, you and hinges can be hard, man, because if you don't get them exactly, even or level and that door is just slightly off kilter or
Mhm.
even, your door frame if it's off. But yeah, you got to take that door off and just take that shaver and just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh,
Yep.
and just start shaving. And then you put it back up there and you're like, just a tiny, like a
A
little
little bit
eighth
more.
inch, a little bit
Just a
more.
little bit more. Gotta
Yep.
take it off again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you paint it up and nobody knows any different. It's
Yep.
fine. Yep.
Hopefully. No. Oh, look at
So,
this door.
but
There's something off about this door. Yep, it is.
yeah. Hey, how was your holidays and stuff? I mean, other than working on that stuff, I mean, did you guys have a good holiday and
I couldn't believe how smooth the traffic was. So we live
the
in Longwood,
traffic?
which is pretty much Orlando. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
Eve, which was Saturday, right? So Christmas Eve was Saturday. We worked at the house for a little bit, then we drove all the way to Bradenton, which is about a 2.5 hour trek. We got there in like 2 hours, which was like almost unheard of.
Dang.
But there were cars on the road, but it wasn't a standstill, and everyone was relaxed. Usually, when people are on I-4, they're doing about 80,
Yeah.
right? Cruising
Yeah.
and
Oh,
in
of
a
course.
cluster,
Yes.
everyone's
Yes.
cruising at 80. But
Yep.
no, everyone was like spread out and
Really?
doing like this the speed limit.
Dang. I
And
guess nobody
it
wants
was
to
very interesting.
get
And
in a
on the way back,
crash and
because we drove back that night, like that night we drove back,
wow.
and so again was just surprised by the traffic.
Yeah.
We got home in record time, and again
Dang.
everyone was just taking their time. Everyone was just relaxed. So it was,
Wow.
and then that was with her family, and
Yep.
then Christmas morning, my dad finally didn't work for the first time in years.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
we finally got to have an actual Christmas, and it was a cold
Right.
Christmas, as you know,
Gotcha.
and so
Yes, it
we
was.
got to actually spend Christmas with the family. So it
Oh,
was a good
cool.
Christmas. What about you?
Very
Did you go anywhere?
nice. So the family and I, so my parents came, my brother and his family, and we all went up to a place called Highlands, North
Mhm.
Carolina. It's just like southwest of Asheville, about an hour southwest, hour and a half, something like that, of Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
And we found a house. So here's like a pro tip right here is, so I found this house to rent. I found it on VRBO, and hopefully, I mean, they're not listening, but I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not supposed to do this, but I found it on VRBO. The owner or the management company had put enough information about the house that I was able to then turn and do a Google search for this house. So guess what I got to save? The VRBO fees. I didn't have to pay any VRBO fees because I found it and I booked it directly through the property management company. I called them up and was like, "Hey, found you on VRBO. I then Googled you and found you on, Google and found your website and found the house. I want to
Yeah.
go ahead and book it." And so we saved like almost $400 on fees that
Yeah.
we would have had to pay through
Yeah, through that you would
VRBO.
have through a VRBO, because they're taking all those fees, like, when you go, through, like, a hosting platform like that.
Yes.
And, actually, that's something that I wanna look at too, is create my own little website, little own
Yep.
booking
Oh
thing,
yeah.
that way,
Yep.
and then advertise on Facebook and Instagram and
Yep.
Google and stuff like that, and,
Yeah.
that way, we end up getting more chunk of the pie
Right.
versus
Yes.
going through, like, VRBO and Airbnb, which will still be on,
Right.
but,
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, it's in the rental community, VRBO and Airbnb is almost like, you know, Zillow, as much as I hate to say it, but I mean, they have such a big market share that if your house, when you're
yeah.
selling it, if it's not on Zillow, people aren't going to see it. So then we were talking about the VRBO stuff. So we go up there, super, super nice place, really cool. And, we get in, we're out on, we got up there on like a Friday. So it was the Friday before Christmas. Saturday is Christmas Eve. We're out doing stuff all day and go snow tubing and all that good stuff.
Mm,
And it's freezing outside. I mean, it's like,
mhm.
2 degrees. It got down in like the -15 overnight.
Shit.
And so we get back, we're all like, oh yeah, I can't wait for hot showers, and we're gonna cook dinner, make some chili. And I go in there and I start to make some chili and turn on the kitchen sink, no water. So we're like, dang. And it's Christmas Eve. So we have no water. Somebody checks the bathrooms. Yep. Hey, we're out of water. We don't have it's not working.
Is it
So we're
on?
like,
Was it on to the house?
oh yeah, it had been working, but it had got so cold that guess what? The
It
pipes,
froze.
they froze.
That's why
They
you gotta have a
busted.
drip. That's
Well,
what
so and they
you gotta drip the pipes, right?
yeah, well, and this wasn't on the house side, it was on the city side, the supply from the city.
Oh.
It had busted at one of the pumps that supply it up to the house. This guy has like a big 300-gallon tank in the house, but we had been depleting that because that pipe had
Oh, shit!
busted and
Because
it
it
hadn't
froze.
refilled it. And so here's what you're going to get into, Chris. If, doing property management, managing your house, we had to call this property management company on Christmas Eve at like 6, 7 o'clock at night. And we're like, hey, there's 10 of us here. We have no water. We have no
Mm,
water. And shout out to Chambers Realty up there, or Chambers Property Management up in Highlands, North Carolina, because they were on it. Like we texted them a couple of times, and it's Christmas Eve, and we didn't
yeah.
expect to get a text back right away. But um, but we finally I was like, hey, we got to call them. So we called them. They answered, and they're like, oh crap, okay. So the guy comes out. Um, I'm trying to remember what his name was, but I'll think of it here in a little bit because it was a unique name. But he comes up, he checks a couple of things. They have a couple of emergency wells, but those were busted, so we couldn't even use the backup wells. So he ended up having to bring us some 7-gallon jugs of water just so we could get through the night and be able to flush the toilets.
Yeah.
So he did that. Now, mind you, the next day is Christmas Day. So we get up the next morning. We do our Christmas thing. Nobody's showered, but, whatever. At least it's
Yeah.
cold out. So we're not all like hot and sweaty and stinky.
I
We
would
just,
rather be cold, and the thing is, like,
exactly.
like a little dirty, like, versus,
Exactly.
like, hot,
I
sweaty,
know. Yep.
just ugh. Yeah.
Exactly. So we do our Christmas thing that morning, we eat breakfast, open some presents and do our thing. And then finally we call him. We're like, hey, what's the plan? Like, what are you thinking? And he brought us some more jugs of water. And then when he brought us the water, he's like, all right, so I have another house in inventory, and it's not rented. It's, comparable size. You guys could fit if you want to go take a look at it. You can either move over there, or you guys can go over there and shower and then come back here. And I was like, well, let's go look at it. Went over there. Beautiful house. It was like a little log cabin kind of thing. It was like 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, 4 bathrooms, something like that. And so I'm like, well, this is way better. Like, I would rather just suck it up and let's move everything here, because we're still there for like another 2 nights.
Oh, yeah, I
And
would've, for sure. And you
yeah,
know you have water? Yeah.
right. Yeah, we got water, we can shower, we can relax, and this one has a pool table, and whereas the other one didn't have a pool table, so I'm in the process. I got to write a review for them, but this one, the new one, had a pool table, so it was like so cool. You could go down the little basement area. We're all down there blasting some music, playing some pool, having some whiskey. Um, and and everything was good from there. But man, I felt so bad that the guy had to come out on Christmas Eve. He had to come out on Christmas Day. But again, yeah, I mean, they were super cool about it. Obviously, it's frustrating, but nobody was really upset, because I mean, what are you gonna do? He literally said this is
Yeah.
the coldest it has been in the past 20 years. Like, it has not been this cold.
Mhm.
Oh, and here's the other thing is, so the new house, and we checked all the water, make sure it worked, except for the kitchen sink. We didn't check the kitchen sink. So the pipe for the kitchen sink is on an outside wall. And I guess it didn't bust, but it was frozen. And so, but there was a half bath that was just right around the corner, so we could fill up a pot with water, heat it up, and
Yeah.
use that to like wash dishes and stuff. So it was that was the worst of it at that house. But again, yeah, what are you gonna do? It's these houses are
Yeah.
built for 10-degree weather, 15-degree. It's built for cold, but not like freaking minus,
Yeah,
18.
15. Yeah, that's a significant
So
difference. Like,
yeah, it is.
that's over 20 degrees. Like, people don't really
Yes,
think that's a lot. Like, that is a lot.
it is. It is.
It's a
So I
significant
mean,
amount. I mean,
but
there's a difference between, like, there's only, like, a 1 or a 2-degree difference between, living, breathing, and then, like, having a fever on the verge of death,
yes,
you know?
yeah.
So, like, our body's temperature is, like, 98, right? But as soon as it hits 100,
Oh, I know.
we're at a fever,
Yes. Yep.
104, you're close to death, you should be at the hospital. So, like,
Right. I
108,
know.
you're dead.
You're
So
dead. Dead.
yeah,
Um,
100
but
108, you're on death's door.
yeah. But like I said, I mean, Chambers Realty up there, their management company, and they have several houses, and they did a really good job. Super nice people. Um, if you're looking for something in that area to rent, the town itself is really cool. It's a nice little. It's not a. I mean, it's a higher end. Things are kind of expensive in this town,
Yeah.
but they have some high end shops. But it's a cool town. Some cool restaurants. They have snow tubing. Um, Tons of hiking trails. We went on some hiking. We did some hiking while we were up there in the mountains, and so a really cool place. But highly recommended.
That sounds really cool. Did you see anybody
So
walk around with kilts or anything like that? Any extended family of James Evans?
no, I did not.
No, because the Highlands,
No.
I might as well.
Oh,
There's gotta
that's
be a
right. Yeah,
few
the
people walking in
Highlands.
kilts around.
I don't know. It might be too country out there for I don't know.
Oh, that's great. That's
um,
great.
but that
Um,
was, other than that, Christmas was good for us. We enjoyed it. We got back home. It was
yeah,
about a 10-hour drive for us, and because we had to stop and charge a couple times and on the our electric car.
yeah.
But here's the thing, it only cost us maybe like $30, 30, $40 round trip for electricity, whereas if I was driving a gas vehicle, it'd cost probably $100,
Hmm.
round trip, if not maybe a little more than that.
Well, that's cool.
I don't even know what
That's good to know.
gas costs these days, but
Yeah, it's nuts. So, short story. I'm not really looking forward to the fact that later this month we'll be going to Snowshoe Mountain for Bethany's birthday. And the thing is, like, we're going to Snowshoe Mountain, West Virginia, and there's no direct flight from Orlando to West Virginia, so we had to fly into Richmond, Virginia, and we have to rent a vehicle to drive over there. And the the vehicle that we're driving is like a premium SUV Suburban, and we're gonna have to drive
oh,
4 hours.
jeez.
We're gonna drive 4 hours, so I'm not.
Oh,
None of us are really looking forward to that gas tank, at all, because
no.
it's gonna be like over $100 to fill it up easily.
Oh,
Like
easily, yeah.
my little car is at one point was like almost $50, and it was a
Right,
little 12-gallon. So imagine this thing that's gonna be like close to like 30 gallons probably.
right.
Ugh.
Dang. Oh, man.
And this is
Well,
why we drink, sir.
speaking of high octane, what,
High octane indeed. So
what,
So I'm
which
representing Four Roses today,
that's a
single barrel Kentucky
that's a good
straight
one.
bourbon whiskey, warehouse number ES, barrel number 74-5M, whatever that means. I'll have to look these up. But Four Roses is one of my favorites for old fashioned. If Angel's Envy is not available, or if um, oh my god, I'm forgetting it. It's right behind you on the wall. Buffalo Trace is
Oh, yeah.
not available. Then Four
That's your
Roses has a
that's
beautiful like sweetness to it that I
yeah.
that I really like, and some of my old fashions. If I'm feeling a little on the sweet side, Four Roses is the good way to go for
Nice.
sure. Other
I
than
can
that, I'm enjoying a cup of coffee.
nice. I can tell you Here, I want to go hit solo mode so you can see my collection has gotten a lot bigger over the holidays.
I'm actually quite impressed with your collection, sir.
And then I've got one here. So this one is actually not a whiskey. I was down in Punta Gorda, and we went to a little what do you call them, farmers market, and they had a little stand. They had a stand set up here. So this isn't actually a whiskey, but check this out. So it's called Wicked Dolphin.
I would drink it just for the label.
Yes, Wicked Dolphin. And after talking to the lady, and she gave me the whole spiel. It's run by females. It's a woman owned distillery. So this one is rum. It's made down in South Florida. It's a rum, but then they take the rum. The reason it has this color is they actually age it right here in
In
whiskey
where?
barrels. They
In
age
whiskey
it
barrels.
in whiskey
See,
barrels for
that's my kind of
6
style of
years.
rum. I would love to drink rum like that. That is some good stuff to me,
So
right there.
this, and she was going through and talking about all the rums and everything. I'm like, ah, cool, all right, cool, yeah. I'm like eyeballing this. I'm like, what's this? What's this? But she was
Yeah.
going through her spiel, which is fine. And finally, I could cut her off and be like, what is this one? She's like, oh, and so I was like, she told me about it. And so then they have a 10-year aged that's coming out. I think it might already be out. I'm not sure, but they were going to do a big release party and whatever. But it's been aged for 10 years in 10 or 12 years. I can't remember, but in the whiskey barrel. So that's what gives it the that color. And then it does it. You would pour this just like you would pour a whiskey. You don't have to mix it with
Yeah,
anything. You
just a
wouldn't.
little bit, right? You shouldn't probably either. It's
No.
like one of those higher class of like rums. How much does that bottle cost?
So this one was like $50. It was
Nice.
$50. Yeah. And so if you want something a little bit different, I would definitely recommend. I mean, I've already had some of it just for tasting, but it's definitely. I mean, it's really really good, and it's smooth. It's super smooth because it has that like little bit of a rum sweet flavor,
Yeah.
and then it's got that whiskey like hit you,
Mm.
but it's not overpowering. So it's really really good.
That would be like one of those. Have you ever had the 1888 rum?
No, I don't
It's
think I
another thing
have.
that's it's another one. It's that's kind of casted in a uh in a rum or a Scotch barrel. I think it is one of those.
Yeah.
I might be completely off, but it is when you take a sip, you're like, this is rum. Like
Right.
it has such a whiskey body and taste to it that
Right.
I was just like, oh boy, and it was sweet too.
Yeah.
Um, I've never really. I guess I'm kind of leaning a little more to the sweetness of like rum or whiskeys, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
1888, look it up
All right. I'll
if
check
you
it
get a
out.
chance. Next time you're in a store and it's a bottle and it's encased in like a fishnet, like the way it is, like
Oh,
it's like a rope fishnet, like
interesting.
kind of just weaves like a how like an iron fence is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how they weave. It's something very similar to that. So it's kind
Yeah.
of you can't really miss it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, let's fast forward from 1888 and get up to 2023 and talk about some numbers here. You like that
Are we
transition? You like
forecast?
that? Um,
Let's forecast.
so real quick, like how'd you do last year?
Oh, yeah. So I closed out 20 deals. Excuse me,
Nice.
20 transactions. 5.8 million dollars worth of product
Sweet.
I helped closed. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was pretty good. I did reach number one
As
in
I
my
say,
office.
were you the number one in your
I was
office?
number one in my office. Yeah.
Guess who was number one in my office?
You were.
Me. So I
Dude.
did 15 deals and it was like $4.93 million
Yeah.
dollars.
You and you're part-time, which is very impressive. Wait, what
I
was the number?
mean,
5 point what?
4.9.
Oh,
That was like
4.9.
yeah, it was like 4,934,000. So I was like just shy, like 60, what is that? $66,000
To break that
to
5,000
break
mark.
that 5 million mark, but that's fine. Again, I mean, I fly airplanes for a living too, so
That's
it
really
was a
good,
nice
man.
balance. It was a nice
Dude,
balance, and
that's
I
really
was
good for
yeah.
part-time.
Yeah.
That's extreme. And you're on top of that, you've been investing.
Correct. Correct.
So
And
that's not
that's
bad at all.
continuing.
How
That's
many
going to continue to
units?
grow. What's that?
How many units?
15.
15. Damn.
15. 1
Damn.
5. Yeah.
Really good. And you've been in
So
the business for, I think you said, like
since
2 years,
20 since 2020 I got my license. So
3.
2021 was really like my first full year because I got my license. I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on with, how to do
The world.
everything. And then, so 21 was my first year. 21, I think I did, it was like 3 million. And
Mhm.
then 2022 was just under 5.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that's,
Killing it, man.
I like that level that I'm at now because it gives me time to do the other stuff, but then also the real estate that I do, I can really, like hyper focus on the clients that I do have, so I can really pay attention to what's going on, and I'm not overexerting and spreading
Mhm.
myself thin across,
Well,
hundreds
that's
of
cool. I mean,
clients.
especially being that you're a pilot too, like, you can't take on too many clients, but if you ever need a referral partner,
Yes, there
I'm
we
your guy.
are. I'm your guy. Um So so we've as a company with Century 21 out in Clark, they've put together a sort of a year-end review and then a forecast that we're going to push through real quick. And I know if you're listening to the audio, you're like, oh, a bunch of stats, but we're going to be as descriptive as possible. And so I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen here, and I'm just going to kind of roll through this. If you see something, Chris,
Okay.
that we need to stop on. So, to start off, these are national statistics. So, right here, nationally, so there's only like 4 million sales nationally. This is, normally it's like a 5 to 6 million, I
Well,
think, for national, right?
so here I was explaining to the crowd while you were gone, like in terms of context, Jared, that in the past 2 years we saw an anomaly in real estate. The pandemic
Correct.
happened. All
Yeah.
right. Everyone thought the market and the world was going to burn during the pandemic, but the real estate market did the exact opposite. It flourished and like hell have no fury.
Right.
It flourished. So
And
when we
there's a
see these
slide later
numbers,
on for that. Yeah.
yeah, so when we see these year-over-year numbers, say like we have a 35.4% year-over-year decrease in sales.
Right.
Well, remember that's year-over-year. What was last year? 2022 at the very height of it,
Right.
where
I
prices were
don't.
at it's still peak. Well, prices are still subjected to peak, but the we're seeing a normalcy to pre-pandemic. So it's all about context in terms of where these numbers are looking at. Okay.
Right.
So
So
last year, yeah, it was 35% more. So I think in the height of the pandemic, it actually peaked at 6 million sales
right.
nationwide.
Yeah, and there's a graph later on that shows like how we compare now to what during the pandemic, and then it goes back all the way to the early 2000s. So we'll be able to see that. But let's power through some of these right here. So nationally, as of November, about just over 4 million, $4 million, down
No,
35%. So, but with that little asterisk that Chris was talking about.
that's not $4 million. That's number of
Or I
sales.
mean,
Number,
yeah, 4 million homes. Yep. So and then the actual pending homes are also down compared to what they were last year, down
yeah,
almost 38%.
37%. Yeah,
So, so
and a
it's just,
4% decrease month over month.
yeah. And we're going to continue to see that. I mean, everything compared to what it was last year and 2021 is just going to be down. So really what we have to do is compare it like what you were talking about, compare it to earlier years, like maybe 2017, 18,
Yeah,
something like that. Um,
yeah,
so right now nationally we have 3.3 months supply of inventory, which is up.
hmm,
So we've seen, pending home sales have gone down and then the
hmm,
inventory overall has come up. But mind you,
yeah,
a normal market is like 5 or 6 months of supply. So
yeah,
because of the low inventory, I'm sorry to say, well, I'm not sorry to say, home prices they're gonna hold steady. They're not gonna drop like everybody keeps hoping they're gonna drop,
yeah,
even though interest rates are a little bit higher. But because we have such a short, small or we have fewer inventory, It's
Mhm.
gonna hold those home prices up there.
Yeah. And it's true. And actually, the home prices for a lot of big techs and those who are analytical companies, they are all projecting an increase in pricing. And so a lot of people are just like, well, all these numbers are pointing south in terms of number of sales, number of units, the inventory is increasing, but the prices are going up. Like, what's going on? It's like, well, again, for context, a lot of buyers are being priced out for interest rates, but at the
Right.
same time, if a home is being put on the market and is correctly priced, if it's correctly priced, it'll sell because these
Yep.
metrics are only really coming from what has sold. All right, about what has sold. So if there are, say, there was an extra million properties on the market,
Yeah.
but because they're so overpriced, therefore because they're so overpriced, they're not selling. So therefore, the number of sales are decreasing.
Correct.
So it's very important that if you're a realtor, like, or even a seller, you have to know the market and you
Correct.
have to project what's going to happen to the market. You have to
Oh,
beat
definitely.
the trend in order to
Definitely.
sell.
Yes. Um,
That's why
so
you see a year-over-year increase. Look at that.
yeah, yeah, look at this, still increasing 3.5%. So you saw how much interest rates went up last year,
Yeah.
and we're
And we still see an
still
increase.
still seeing an increase. And the national, median sales price right now is almost $371,000. It's 370 or 700.
Yeah. And
And
go ahead, Jer. Sorry.
we'll see in Florida a little bit later that it's our average or our median sales price for the state of Florida is even higher than the national average or the national median sales price, just because we have a ton of people. There's like 15, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 people coming to Florida, not every month, but every day.
Yeah, that was at the height
Every
of the pandemic. Yes,
day.
right there. Like in
Yeah.
2021, there was an article that came out was published by I think NAR or FloridaRealtors.org, um, by the Florida Realtors. I think it was April or May of 2021, and it indicated like there were 365,000 people moving to
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
That number has dropped, but not a couple hundred thousand. It's still hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands of people.
Yep. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, this is a
Housing's
bad start. This is a bad stat right here.
yes,
This is not good.
housing starts is down 17%. So, um, and then we'll see on the next slide. Or I'll go ahead. So housing starts are down, and then the median sales price of a new home has increased 9% year over year. So it's at
Yeah,
471,000. So to buy a new home, the median sales price is 471,000. To buy a home that's already there is $100,000 cheaper
cheaper,
to then compared to buying a new home, which,
which
you
is
know,
nuts.
it is. But it sort of makes sense. I
Nuts.
mean, when I buy something new, I expect it to be a little bit more expensive. But it's just it's
It's no,
I
it's
haven't seen a big gap like that.
it's preposterous. So a
It
lot
is.
of builders, and I won't name drop, a lot of builders were taking absolute advantage. And so home starts is the number of uh, homes that are being broken ground that are starting for that month or for that year. It's really bad to see a year over year decrease in housing starts, as well as like a downward trend in a month, because in order to bring inventory back to a sense of normalcy to that 5 month 6 month range, housing, new construction is a huge component to creating the increase of inventory. So it that needs to constantly be ahead, not ahead, sorry, or at least closer to normalcy, so people can buy into the newer home, and then it kind of allows more homes to come back onto the market. So seeing that number is really bad, and to a lot of builders took advantage of the market last month, and buyers. So to see $100,000 price increase is honestly like a little maddening and a little
Mhm.
frustrating because it should not be
Yep.
that way.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
Yeah,
but
so
nonetheless, down
I can go on
17%
and on about some of these stats. It's
on
crazy.
yeah, down 17% on housing starts. Median new home price is $471,000, which is up 9% compared to what it was last year.
Hmm.
Um, and that kind of wraps up some of the 2022. All right, so next that we're going to be talking about is some historical perspectives, and we'll kind of breeze through these. It's just a few charts that we have on here, but basically existing home sales, you can see all the way back to 2018. There's a couple more graphs on existing home sales as well, but
Hmm.
right now we are down just a little bit, but still not too far off. I mean, where we normally are.
Not at all. So again, like just for context, like we're nowhere near like we're coming out of the pandemic and everything, and with the inflation and it going everything and impacting prices and stuff like that, we're actually going back towards a state of normalcy, and we'll have some more graphs to kind of further show that. So we're definitely not at the worst we've had, but we're definitely and we will rebound for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. So it's just there's a lot of things happening right now. So I mean this chart. Well, I kind of like this one a little bit better because it goes
There we
back
go.
all the way to 2000. So this is existing home sales. It's a historical view. If you're just listening to us audio only, so it's a bar graph. It goes all the way back to 2000, where it shows home sales, just above 5 million. And then it tops out, man. Look at that. 2005, it went all the way up to 7 million home
Yeah.
sales before it started really dropping off going into 2008. And that was
Yep.
obviously the recession that
Yep. That was the
happened.
collapse.
Yeah. I mean, it totally just somebody pulled the rug out from underneath the entire industry of real estate.
Yep.
And it just, man, what a crazy time. But
Yeah.
the takeaway from that is look at where we're at in 2022. That's this red bar right here. And yeah, 2020, 2021 was amazing. 2022 and going into 23, it's still looking pretty good. And if you compare it to, that time between 2008, 2012,
Mhm.
it's still really, really good.
Yeah. So
So,
if you look at it, just go, straight perpendicular to it. We're going back to the time of 2014, 2015, from 13 to 15 levels. So again, we're not in a crash. This isn't a housing bubble or
correct.
anything like that. We're actually going back to what we were nearly a decade ago. All right.
Right. Right.
So this is all something that realtors have been wanting and buyers have been wanting
Yes.
for a long time because we've been
Yeah.
in a bull market for over 12 years.
Oh, the sellers have just been, they've been in
Enjoying
charge
it.
for the past several
Absolutely.
years. And,
Hmm.
it's the buyers are starting to get a little bit of a break, but not as much. It's still not back to where it used to be just because uh, inventory is
Hmm.
still down. And we're going to see a couple of charts
Hmm.
that show that. But look at this new home sales going back pre-COVID levels. So we're still getting back to pre-COVID levels. 2021, 2020 was just it's sort of an anomaly. A lot of unpredicted things. Who knows? I mean, who would ever thought we'd have been in a pandemic, and then let alone
Yeah.
the housing market was just going to skyrocket the way that it
Hmm.
did during a time of uncertainty and just everything that was going on.
Hmm. And it's actually a breath of relief to know that we're actually going back towards a pre-pandemic level in terms of affordability, which is kind of a question mark, and then but mainly having your buyers have options as well as not having to feel rushed, coming to offers blindly, paying over the appraised value. A lot of buyers I'm going to see, Jared, for this next year is actually going to be walking into some equity, at least until about the third quarter is when I suspect the prices to really kind of start leveling out because it's a lag measure, right? So we have to see
Yeah,
home sales. So eventually, home sales prices need to start coming down a little bit, and then for in order for the so buyers will be going into like an equity position a lot of times. Um, that I kind of predict.
Yes, I agree.
So
You still hear me?
yes,
Okay,
yeah, I
good.
haven't lost audio.
Okay, good. I just changed my camera because my other one kept going out, so I was like getting tired of changing or
No
unplugging,
worries.
replugging it back
This
in.
angle is actually quite flattering.
Is it? You like it?
A little
Hi.
bit. This is a little different dynamic. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
We can dig it.
All
So
right.
I think
So
this is the last historical preference, and then we'll get into actual forecasting, what the
correct.
predictions are.
So yeah. So this one's talking about housing starts. So this is a historical look at housing starts. There's a blue line that goes right
Hmm.
across the middle, sits right around just above a million housing starts, and that's probably that's about the national average, or the
Yeah.
historical average, and this is dating all the way back to 1960. So if you look at where we're at now, we're basically right about average on housing starts.
Hmm.
Obviously, look back in 2005 to or just before 2005. I mean, it was like way, way, way up, almost
Yeah.
1.8 million homes,
New
new
construction
homes.
actually didn't help with the housing market. That was another component
Right.
that caused the
Yep.
housing market in the bubble.
Yes.
Whereas like now, like we spent the past almost decade, more than a decade, almost 20 years, where we were trying to catch up. New construction was trying to catch up to the market,
No
and
mustard,
when
just ketchup.
just straight catch up, man, straight catch up, and they finally eclipsed like almost 2 million starts, which was a huge thing because we need that to bring national inventory back to
Yep.
standard and normal levels. And then this shit happened, and then
Yes.
materials skyrocketed, and now there's shortages all over the place, and it just put us further back. So
Right.
in a grand scheme of things, even though in this very short term of a dip and then growth again, it'll still be a seller's market for the next several years.
Yep.
Several years. And
Yep.
again, it's between 0 month supply of inventory to 5 to 6 month supply of
Yes.
inventory.
Right.
So we are still in a seller's market, make no mistake.
100%. All right, so here's some of the NAR forecasts, NAR, National Association of Realtors, and they come out with some charts and graphs. So here's what they're forecasting. This is going into uh, all the different or quarters into 2023. So Q1 through Q4. Basically, you know, we're we're predicting, we had a little bit of a downturn at at the end of 2022, and then going into Q1, it's going up a little bit compared to what it was, but and this is for number of sales.
Yep.
Um,
And so look at that, buyers. If you're a buyer,
yes,
you have to be looking at this, because if you're waiting for that crash again, it ain't happening. Get that mind and get that idea out of your head, because between now and the end of the second quarter is going to be your best time to buy.
yes,
Is going to be
yeah,
your best time to
100%.
buy.
Because it's
All
going to
right.
start picking back up again. It's going to get a little bit more competitive for buyers going
Yep.
into Q3 and Q4, which is kind of
It,
strange because Q4 is going into the holiday season, and that's usually when it kind of slows
well,
down, right?
a little bit, but it's also the most expensive time to buy.
Right.
All right, because you're coming out of the summer season, and if you just look at it historically, like the bar's always gone up for the year, a year, when it comes to the start of the year to, like, I believe for the past like 20 years, just it's always gone
Right.
up.
Yep. Check this out. Home price growth. So this is what, all right. So those of you that are waiting to buy a home because you're waiting on the market to tank, or you're waiting on home prices to go down, check
Hmm.
this out. Even going into 2023, Q Q2 is the only one that this is on a national level. Q2 is the only one
Yeah.
that's showing a downturn in home prices, but wait till we show you what's happening in Florida. But right here on a national level, Q2 is showing a little bit
Yeah.
of a downturn. Q1, Q3, and Q4 still in the
All growth.
positive. It's still
All the
all
growth.
growth. So if you're waiting on home prices to drop, good luck, man. It's just
Yep.
it's not going to happen. If anything, they're going to taper off. It's going to be sort of a flat year. There's not
Hmm.
going to be a whole lot of change, year over year basis, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, we're not going to see 10-20%
Mm-mm.
decreases
Mm-mm.
on home prices. It's just not going to
Well,
happen.
I mean, I mean, as a collective, no, but in small doses of areas on a macro
Correct.
level,
Correct.
we will see those jumps. I don't know about you,
Correct.
but I'm seeing prices drop about 30 grand
Are you?
from, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like on a macro level, on a small home, like on area level, yes, because sellers are going way too high. They're starting way too high,
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
definitely.
they're having to drop their prices to catch up to the market, to what
Yep,
buyers are willing to pay for.
definitely.
So, but the homes that come new on the market and they are in a right spot, the right condition, and the right price, it is gone. All right. So, and NAR, National Association of Realtors, are not the only ones forecasting this. So keep going, Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fannie Mae and others are all predicting the similar
Oh, yeah, here we go.
outcome
So
for, yeah.
so yeah, Fannie Mae forecast is for 2023. This is total housing starts,
New
so base
construction,
new construction, it's basically not forecasted to increase until Q1 of 2024. I
which is
mean,
not
there's
good.
it's still gonna taper off throughout this year. It's gonna decrease, and then Q1 2024 is when they're predicting it's going to pick back up, and
Hmm.
that's gonna hold inventory down.
Yep.
It's just gonna keep it as a competitive market, and then um, number of sales again, you know, 23 is just it's basically just going to be a flat year, is what we said before, as far as
Hmm.
sales go and home price changes, and it's really not going to pick up
Take off.
take off until we get into 2024, Q2,
Yeah.
Q3. So things are just going to continue to be flat for this year
Hmm.
and not pick up until next year. Gross demand product, GDP. So
Yeah.
the thing to take away from this is, and I put a note here. So gross demand product, the way a recession is defined is two negative quarters in a row. Well, look, we
Yep.
had one back in Q1, Q2 of 2022. They're predicting one for 2023, the first two quarters, and a small negative
Yeah.
GDP in Q3 as
Yeah.
well. But so technically, I guess for the first two quarters, we're going to be in a recession.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah, for the first three quarters. So, well, the first
well,
three.
yeah,
So, the end of, so from the first quarter, the second quarter, and into the third quarter, those are all just negative growths because it's not going positive. And
correct.
then right there at the end of the year, that
Yep.
fourth quarter is when we're going to start seeing growth, like heavy
Yes.
growth, fast
Yep.
growth. So, again, we can't stress enough that if you're a buyer, you need to get going
Yes.
now. All
100%.
right. So
100%.
that way, by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, you're in equity position. You're
Yes.
going to be in equity position. This is a
Yep.
blip. All right.
Yep. Yep.
That's all this is. This is a correction it's a very small, minor correction that will see itself right out by the end of the year.
Exactly. And don't translate this to what happened back in 2008 to, through 2012. This is a little bit different. I mean, there's a lot of other factors
Yeah.
that were in play back in that time. This is a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Inventory is, back then
Yeah.
oversaturated on inventory. Right now we're low on inventory. A lot of other things that we could
I would argue that this is Fed driven.
probably. Yeah.
Whereas like the crash, 2008 crash was the housing market was driven by the mortgage industry. This
Yeah.
is driven by the Fed industry and
Yeah.
purely of increase of interest rates.
Interest rates.
So
Exactly.
when you have that many buyers pull out of the market because of interest rates, you're gonna have those who don't really care about it or have the ability or have the luxury because real estate will always move because people always have to move and housing
Correct.
is always needed.
Correct.
So you're just minimizing the amount of buyers that are out there back to a normal level.
Mhm.
That's all this really is, and it's
100%.
it's
Yeah.
honestly it's for the better in
Yep.
my personal and professional opinion.
Yep. All right. Let's jump into some Florida
Florida stats.
statistics. And this is
How
for 2022. These numbers are based on, I believe, yeah, November from last year, because they
Mhm.
don't have, I
I have
think, in
December's
about
yet.
8 days or so, the
Yep.
numbers for December are going to come out, and we'll be able to close out fully the year of
Mm,
2022. But check this
yeah.
out: 17,000 home sales for the state of Florida. which is
That's
down
down.
38% year over year. So not as many sales. So what is that going to do? It's we'll see it here in just a second. It did increase our inventory
Inventory
slightly. Um, let's see. So our inventory 2.8. What were we? Do you remember what we were down?
at the
What Florida
height.
was at
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 the
the
height,
at
it
the
was
bottom
like
of
point
yeah.
0.8.
Yeah,
It
so I
was
mean,
less than a
check
month. It was less than a
so
month's supply.
so look at that. It took a 38% drop of home sales to get us up basically 2 months of inventory. We
Yep.
went from point 0.8 to 2.8. So we're up 2 months, up 133%. So it took a 39% drop to
Mhm.
get us a 133% increase of
Yeah.
inventory.
So we're actually now officially, now that I see that, we're pre-pandemic levels in terms of inventory.
Correct.
Um, right there at the start of the pandemic, right when it happened and the lockdowns and everything like that, we were in a 2 month supply. We were in a 2 month range already. So, and again, this indicates it's a seller's market. Like
Yeah.
even though that number is going to continue to go up at least another 2 quarters,
Yep.
that it'll still be considered very normal, or I mean,
Yeah.
like very much a seller's market and far from
Correct.
normal.
Oh yeah. But compare that to the national inventory. So nationally, it's a 3.3. We're still
Mm-hmm.
down to 2.8, and why is that? It's because we still have a ton of people moving to Florida. I mean, from all over, anywhere from I think at the height it was like 1,500 people, not a month, but per
A
day.
day.
Right now, it's dropped off a little bit, probably somewhere close to 1,000
We're
people a
still,
day,
yeah,
but we're still getting a ton of people coming here to Florida, all
mm-hmm.
over Florida every
Yep.
single day.
And it's not just for, um, I mean, not to get political, but man, we definitely have like the biggest freedoms, and we have no income tax.
Oh, that's yeah,
We have one of the most freedoms in the states. And so a lot of people are moving here for political reasons, and then a lot of many people are moving here for financial reasons.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah, and then you filter or you throw in the people that move here just for retirement because like down in Fort
there's
Myers
that
area,
too.
like
Oh,
down in
well,
South
Fort
Florida. I
Myers is
mean,
fucking destroyed, dude.
well, yeah, I mean, aside from the hurricane, but yeah, just the amount of retirees. I mean, people retire all over the country, and guess where they
But
go? They come to Florida. They go to the villages.
like,
They go to, all over. There's there's
on the
there's like a
coastlines,
a
yeah.
handful of places that you have a pretty significant amount of retirees.
Mhm.
So median sales
Agree.
price is right now for the state of Florida. Check that out, $400,000, which is still up. Hey, buyers,
Year over
remember what I
year.
was saying? You can't wait for these home prices to drop. We're at $400,000. That's
That's a
up,
year.
still up 10%,
Mhm.
even with the increase in interest rates. We're still
Increase
going
of
up.
interest rates,
Yeah,
increase of inventory.
correct.
It's the home prices are not expected to go down in a huge degree that Jared was talking about earlier. Like
Right.
Jared, you mentioned like 20-30%. Like, no, it's not happening.
Nope.
Remember, like
Nope.
everything is all based on context. Where our numbers as a whole is going back to pre-pandemic levels, but the homes that are in good condition, good location, and a good price are selling, whereas everything else is not selling.
Right.
So they're all playing catch up to the market. But
Correct.
the only thing that drives the median price are the ones that sell, and the ones that sell have a huge demand on them.
Right. So yeah, so $400,000. I mean, that's and then what was the national median sale was like 371, I believe. So
Yeah,
371,000. We're like basically $30,000 more than the
mm,
national average right now.
that's our demand. That's
That's
Florida.
yeah. And then so here's New Smyrna Beach kind of getting on a hyper local level, but closed sales 77, which is down again. Closed sales 47% were down. 2.7 months of inventory, right on par
Hmm.
with the entire state of Florida at 2.8. And then median sales
But the median
price
sales price is up
377. It's up
16%.
16%. Exactly.
Again,
So
the
again,
number of, yeah. Let's go ahead, Jerry. Sorry, I interrupt you.
the inventory is going to be the driving factor in keeping these sales prices up. It's just
Hmm.
until we get a normal inventory, these prices are just going to hold value. These
They are.
homes are going to hold their value. And look, check out Orlando, Chris. That's where you're at. I'll let you.
This is our company. Look at this. So year over year, we're down 45%. So a lot of buyers that were trying to get something into Orlando area have now pretty much succeeded because of interest rates, right? So that kind of impacts our inventory and kind of slows things down. And you can see from an inventory perspective, we're up 333% year over year. So we were deep into the less than one month supply for
Yeah.
Orlando metro area. So people were making offers that were sight unseen, well over the appraised value,
Right.
and everything like that. And we've seen an increase, but if you look at the median sales price, 360,000 year over year, I can't, is that a plus or a minus
What's that for the
9%?
360?
Yeah.
It's a plus 9%.
A plus, but
Yes.
again, it's a plus. Why is this? Because even though we've seen a huge decrease in the number of sales and a huge increase of monthly supply, I've said it again and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The amount of homes that are on the market versus what's selling,
Yep.
only the driving force are the ones that are priced good
Yep.
location, and good
Yep.
condition. And that is what's driving the median price. Other than that, the inventory is going to continue to stick up, and you're going to see drastic price decreases until
Yeah.
of the sellers catching up to the market.
Yep.
So, and these are, we just kind of highlighted our two areas,
Right.
but this is
It's
statewide in
yeah. It's
multiple cities, multiple
yeah.
counties. You're seeing tens of and hundreds of percents year over year differences in terms of inventory, but the prices on almost every single county has
Positive.
still increased. It's a
Yep.
positive increase on a median price. So
Yes.
again, buyers, like, you have to move. if,
Yeah.
if we're seeing like another 2 quarters of consecutive downturn and
Yeah.
you want to take part of that action, you need to get off your little high horse thinking that it's going to crash, because
Yeah.
you don't know anything.
And
I'm sorry to
I
say this. Sorry to be really aggressive about that, but you don't know
yeah.
anything. You got to
I
jump when we say so.
Yeah, and I can tell you if you want to know, so we just covered, New Smyrna and in Orlando, but if you want to know your specific area, zip
Oh,
code,
happy to tell
town,
you.
give us, reach out to us. We can pull
Hmm.
this stuff really easily and get it on an even more hyper local level, such as like your specific neighborhood or zip code or
Hmm.
whatever county,
Yeah.
whatever you're looking for. But it's like Chris said, it's up, across the board on home prices. Inventory is up, but it's still not to a normal market.
Hmm.
The next thing here is, so we want to talk about what some of the industry experts have to say, and one of them
Yep.
in particular is Brian Buffini. So
Hmm.
Brian Buffini,
He's a
he's
very big hitter. Sorry, Jared, to
yeah,
interrupt you.
yeah. Well, that's basically what I was gonna say. Yeah, he's a big dog in real estate.
Very well
But
known.
he's saying, I've got a couple things highlighted. Despite tight inventory, buyers are starting to see less competition for homes. So what does that mean? So inventory is coming
Again,
up, and
buyers are
y-
leaving. They're
yeah,
like, the competition is
right.
leaving. So that's
So
good. That's
So
why they feel like less stress.
no longer do you have to see that home come on the market on day 1 and then put your offer right on, 2 hours after it
Same
came
day.
out. Like you
Yeah.
have a little bit of breathing room. So
Mhm.
um it's just so it's becoming a little bit less competitive
Yeah.
for now. For sellers who price their home right, they'll continue to be competitive. So again, in this market, you so what I'm seeing a lot is people trying to price their home as if they were selling it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That's what I see a lot right now, and if you do that, uh-uh, you're not gonna sell your house. It's
Yep.
not gonna sell.
You
It's gonna
can't.
sit on the market.
Yeah.
You're gonna go stale, and people are gonna wonder, "What's wrong with your house? Why isn't
Yep.
it selling?
Yeah.
Why has it been on the market for, 30, 40,
30
60
days. What's
days?
wrong with the home?
Yeah,
And
what's going on?"
they came on too strong. They
Right.
came on too strong. They came on at the start of the downturn or the correction. And
Yep.
so they're playing catch up right now. So
Yes.
you're in a great advantage. Like, that
Yeah.
is the absolute the sake of it all. And
Yes.
so you got to take advantage of that when it hits, and don't think it's going
Yes.
to keep going. You got to listen to us as industry leaders.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Pricing. I mean, it's always important to get the price right, but now
mhm,
I think more than ever, because it's such a fluid market right now,
yeah.
and there's so many factors that come
Mhm.
into everything. So
And before we go on, Jerry, so like for sellers, maybe the question is like, well, how do we know what to price it at then? Okay, well, we know the trend. The trend is leaning towards another 2 consecutive quarters of downturn, right? So how do we look at that and be ahead of the trend so to make sure you still get the most money possible? Because the moment you start doing a price decrease is the moment you're now chasing the market, and buyers are just going to sit and wait until someone is, I guess, ready to actually take a look at it. In order to figure that out is that you have to see what is sold, but also
yep.
what's pending, and then how long it took them to pend, and then where are they at with that,
Right.
and that's how you get ahead of it. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
So, but you just call us, we'll sit down with you, and we're happy to tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta, you gotta do it. You gotta call
Mhm.
somebody, even if you don't call us. Call
Yeah.
your realtor,
Don't do a
and
for sale by owner. I
yeah.
promise you. You're gonna get nothing but real estate calls.
Right.
You're
Yep.
not gonna get actual people calling you.
Couple more bold predictions for 2023. So this is Brian Buffini. There's going to be fewer transactions.
Mhm.
We've seen that across the board. There's, home
Yep.
sales have already been decreasing. There's going to be more contract cancellations. So sellers, be
Mhm.
ready for that,
Yep. So
because buyers are getting into homes and then they're like, oh crap, maybe I can't afford it, or home prices are dropping. I'm gonna, I'll leave my deposit. Or I'm gonna try to get out of,
well, there's
or
there's
not.
gonna be a little bit more options. Now
Well,
that
that's yeah.
they have more breathing room,
Right.
we're gonna go back to the typical cancellation of contracts like that we've
Yes.
seen.
Yep.
Like, oh, there's another house over here that we like more in a
Correct.
neighborhood that we've been wanting. So
Right.
we were settling. Now we're
Correct.
going over here.
Yep.
So
And then there's, and
there
he's
will
also
be
saying
fewer
there's
agents. All
fewer
right.
agents.
So
And
not to be disparaging, but there will be fewer agents because a lot of agents can't handle this kind of a downturn because they've never experienced it before.
right.
The average agent only has a career of about 3 years. That's
Right.
it.
And here's
So
the thing. A lot of agents, including myself, but a lot of agents came in right at the start of the pandemic, in
mhm,
2020. And like Chris said, we're, a career of 3 years. We're hitting that 3 year mark, but
mhm.
we've had the best, some of the new agents came into it and they're like just getting houses thrown at them,
Yeah.
and,
Without
to
any
sell,
training, and they didn't really have to sell really anything,
right,
or really have to scale
right,
a skill set because you listed it above market price, it's sold.
right.
And if you had a buyer, you were able to that had cash or a strong financing, you
Yep.
were good. You
Uh,
had business thrown at you.
yes.
These agents, you got to watch out for desperation in terms of buyer side and seller side.
Correct.
You got to ask them how long they've been in the business,
Yep.
ask for the credentials, ask how many clients they have currently, if they're going to give you more time or less time. If they start crying in front of your presence of like, please buy this house or please give me the listing,
No.
run,
Right, right,
run, because they
right,
only have their interests at hand,
right.
um, and not yours. So
So,
you gotta, when you're hiring an agent, look out for that desperation of agents.
yeah. So, but just know that there's gonna be fewer agents,
Mhm.
which is a good thing, because the ones that are left are, you know, you'll have more, you'll be able to filter out the bad ones a little bit easier, because you'll have the
Well, they'll see
good
themselves
ones.
out.
Yeah. The good ones will still be around.
Mhm.
Um Here's another quick, Brian Buffini prediction. 5.4% home prices anticipated to rise 5.4% year over year. Inventory is going to rise 23%. And 66% of Americans are anticipated to own a home. And that's what he's predicting for the first quarter of 2023.
Yep.
Couple more slides from him, just to hit on real quick some more bullet points. Some advantages for buyers: no more panic buying. There's going to be more choice, as we've said. Inventory is up, so there's going to be a little bit more choice, and there's not going to be as much of a need for 30-year fixed mortgages. I'm not, yeah, I don't know. Why
Uh,
I'm not too sure
that's
why
a
he's
very
predicting that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe ARMs,
Oh, so
and then
okay,
refinance.
yeah, I see what he's
So,
saying.
because
So
interest rates are so high, you can get like an ARM for, I guess, a cheaper rate.
yeah.
And,
Yeah. So and then
so
you
maybe
buy it
that
and then
that
you
could be it.
refi it later is what he's
Yeah.
saying. So,
Yeah, because interest rates will
um,
bounce. Interest rates will bounce back. We know that. Give it till about June. Interest
yeah,
rates are already like heading
they
towards like a positive state right now.
they are.
Um,
Yeah.
so but June, July would be a good time.
And then 3 advantages for sellers in 2023. So FOMO, if you don't know what that is, fear of missing out will create a selling momentum.
It's already
Um,
happening. It's already
it
happening.
is,
It's
you know,
seriously.
people see that the market is slowing down. It's not, it's not dropping like crazy, but they see it and then they're afraid that they're going to miss out on, man,
Yeah.
I should have sold it 6 months ago. I would have made, an extra
Yep.
20 grand on my
It,
house or whatever.
yeah. Again, is
So,
that trend? Is that there? You got to beat the trend. So that fear of
right.
missing out is going to be a very real thing. It's going to be a normal
Correct.
thing.
But then check this out. There's going to be more of a reliance on pro agents. So
Mhm.
real estate agents, I mean, it's you just you're going to need somebody in your corner to help you navigate because it is so fluid. And if we haven't been in a market like this in quite some time, so if you're unfamiliar, you're going to have a really good agent who can price your home, market the home, and negotiate the terms of the home. And then not only that, make sure that whoever's buying the home, if you're working on, we're talking about sellers, whoever's buying the home, you hold them accountable. That your agent is going to hold the buyers accountable if they try to back out of that deal.
Yep.
So that's where the pro agents, you have
They're
to
going
have
to shine.
somebody
Yeah.
on your side. And then his last point here: prices will still be solid even if they won't be at the mid 2021 highs. So yeah, 2021 was crazy, crazy uh, time for home prices to be skyrocketing. And who would have ever thought that we'd be in a pandemic and real estate would just,
Not this guy.
yeah, would take off like it was. But we're not back where we were, but we are still in a really, really good market if you are a
Mhm.
seller.
Yeah.
You just have to be careful again
Yep.
of how you're pricing that because you can't
Mhm.
price it as it was even 3 months ago. Is you can't look 3 months ago and be like, "Oh, yeah, I can get an extra 15, $20,000." Nope. Nope. Not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I know, but not anymore. Nope.
Nope.
You can't list it high and then expecting multiple offers. No, you gotta be the cheapest motherfucker out there. And then
Yes.
you literally, if there are 5 homes in your neighborhood, in your direct neighborhood, that is for sale and they've been sitting for 3 weeks,
Yep.
you need to be the cheapest asshole in that neighborhood
Yep.
and just say F you to the neighbors because you got to sell the house and like you're gonna hurt the actual market because you're now
Right.
setting the price. But
Correct.
what's the goal? Are you trying to sell it? Are you trying to in competition with them? Or are you trying to sell the house? All right.
Right.
So in order to sell it, you have to reduce the price. That's it. Period. Period. All
Yep.
right. If your price does not reflect the condition or the location, you're fucked. You're not gonna sell it.
Yeah.
That's period. So
100%.
and vice versa. Oh, if you don't have one of those 3 things, or if they're out of line, you're not selling. You're not
Yep.
selling. And usually it's price.
Yep. 100%. All right, so now we have some industry news sources, and here's what they're talking about. So this one is from Keeping Current Matters. That's a real estate news website. They have a lot of data points that they collect
Mm-hmm.
and post them for everybody. Actually, anybody can go there. Keeping Current Matters. I think it's keepingcurrentmatters.com, or is it like
Yeah.
kcm.com, something like
Uh,
that.
yeah, it'll take you to the same thing, but the short version is KCM,
Yeah.
kcm.com. I get a lot of my
So
information from them.
yep, same here. And they have a lot of really good articles, and like I said, they collect a lot of data points and sort of put it in these nice little graphs and things. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, what they're saying is all the big dogs are saying that home appreciation is going to vary. So check this out. We have Realtor.com that says home prices are going to be up 5.4% all the way to the other side of the scale, where Zelman says home prices are going to decline 5.1%. So, and then you have like and you have the next one is 2.6, and on the flip side 1.5. So everything's sort of offsetting. The big dogs are all kind of offsetting each other. So basically, what is that tells me is everything's going to be kind of flat this year. We're going
Flat.
to see a little bit of increase, maybe 0%, maybe slightly a little bit of a decrease.
I
But
think wide scale, you're right. It's
yeah,
gonna be a flat.
yeah,
Whereas like if you get into the hyper local
mm-hmm,
markets, some will still be extremely hot and others will be flatline cold.
yes,
Or
yep.
turn into a buyer's market.
It's
It's really, I think it's really going to be more on a hyper focus level if
yeah,
we're going to see like major swings, 5% or under
yeah.
5%.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, and then especially in Florida, I don't think
Hmm.
we're gonna see any. I really don't think we're gonna see any declines in home prices in Florida. I mean, they're gonna get down to where they're not gonna increase at all, maybe, but I just don't think overall as a whole we're gonna see any declines in Florida. I think some of these declines are gonna come from other parts of the U.S. that just where the markets just aren't as hot,
Hmm.
and so it's yeah, for Florida, I think it's going to pretty much stay
Pretty
the same.
consistent.
Yeah, pretty consistent. Home sales, as far as home sales, they're going to moderate as we saw in some of the earlier we talked about earlier.
Look at that.
In the
Not much of
in
a
the
difference. It's flatline
yeah
again.
yeah pretty much flatline. We're going to see about the same home sales. Somewhere in the 5 millions, which is still a pretty good year when you look for national numbers. I mean, it's not as good as what it's been in the past, but it's not terrible.
Yeah. So as a nation, we peaked out at 6, and then now we're into I think the high fours.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna be on the low side of number of sales.
Yeah.
I really do. I really think
Yep.
we're gonna be on the low side. I think Fannie Mae is close to
Right.
where we're gonna be at in terms
Yep.
of total volumes of sales. That's my prediction. So good
Right.
thing we're recording this because we can go back to it
That's right.
at the end of the
Hold
year.
hold us accountable. So at the end
Yeah.
of 2023, when Chris was wrong, come back and be like, "See, I told you you're wrong." Let's see. This is from Inman News. This is another real estate news website. They have a bunch of stuff.
Inman is definitely one of the cream of the crop in terms of business side of real
Correct.
estate of
Yep.
what's going on.
But
So
keep in mind, they have a paid platform. So there's certain articles you
yeah,
get for free, and then there's other articles. And I always get so mad, like when I go to click on an article and
yeah,
it's like, oh, you must pay to
paywall,
read this article. I'm like, no, I'll just go read something else. And I'm not
yeah.
paying you,
But
dude. Come on.
as realtors we're supposed to have it free because we pay towards the membership, but it's always finicky.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I
so
I
yeah,
paid for it for a year, and I literally have pulled.
you should
Well,
not
and
have.
I hate it because I'll read an article and I'm like, oh, that's such a great article, and then
Hmm.
I want to share it, but oh, I can't share it because
Can't share
anybody I
it.
share it with, and then
Yeah.
if I screenshot it and post it that way, then I'm probably going to get in trouble for
You would.
copyright or something like that. I'm
You
like, dude,
would,
you
because
know
you
what?
didn't
Take
have
take my
permission to
subscription, take it
distribute.
away, take it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But either
I
way,
Inman is an amazing journalistic business oriented, real estate oriented news source. But
yes.
man, it's a pain in the butt to get a hold of those good articles because they have a lot of
It
great
is. They
information.
do have a lot of good stuff. But
But
if
anyways,
you do if you see an article on there that you want to read, and just, hit me up and I'll send it to you. I'll just copy and send it to you directly. I don't care. But what they're saying, so economists and other housing experts predict the market will be more balanced among buyers and sellers. Home prices won't change much, while mortgage interest rates will continue to dip. And we've already been seeing
mhm,
that. I think the current interest rates are right around 6.3 ish for a 30-year fixed.
yeah,
It's like 6.33. That's what it was when they posted them last Thursday.
Friday.
Fannie
Well,
Mae does
Friday
them
is
on,
usually when the
or Freddie
Fed
Mac.
meets. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Freddie Mac. There's a website. They they post them every Thursday. Let's see, I've got it right here actually. So this is freddiemac.com/PMMS. So every Thursday. So last one was on the 12th. Today's the 17th. The 12th was on the Thursday. So the 19th. This is what they're showing right now. So 6.33, 15 years of 5.52. Now, obviously,
Mhm.
there's always going to be some fluctuations in there depending on your market, your credit score, your this, your that, everything. So this is just sort of like, well, basically what it says, weekly average of the mortgage interest rate. So take that for what it is. Know that it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less.
Mhm.
It's an average.
Yep.
So, how are we doing, or how are the industry players doing? So this is what was most interesting to me.
Can't call them
And
players anymore.
I mean, seriously, it's so. And when we're talking about industry players, we're talking about Zillow, we're talking about Redfin,
Open
Realtor.com, like
Door,
Open Door,
OfferPad,
all these.
everyone who is against the realtor. These are
Mhm.
all companies who are against the realtor.
Well,
They're
not
trying to eliminate the realtor and the agent.
right.
These are these companies.
Some of the first ones we're going to talk about. So first one, everybody knows this name, everybody knows this logo. Check out their earnings, their revenue. So their revenue only $483 million, down
Down.
12%. Their net income down. It's a minus 53 million.
So they
Um,
lost. They're in the hole
right.
53 million,
So
which
they're
is
in the hole.
surprisingly an increase of 83% from the year before.
Correct, which is well, but that makes sense because remember they had their sort of their open door, their what their iBuyer program
Yeah.
where they would go in and they'd buy up a bunch of houses and then they were trying to flip them and sell them.
Mhm.
Didn't
And
work
they
out
they
so
ended up
well.
closing. They ended up closing that whole division.
Correct. It was like 50% of their basically like 50% of their company. They had to
Mhm.
completely lay off everybody, shut
Dissolve.
down.
Yeah.
Their stock price just totally tanked.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're so imagine they're up. They lost $53 million and they're up 83%. I don't remember what the number was, but it was insane. They had
Mhm.
lost a ton of money.
Yeah.
Earnings per share. So theirs is down 21 cents on earnings per share. So check this out. Watch the earnings per share. Pay attention to the net income because
And the
there's
earnings per share.
and the
Like if
earnings
you
per
have
share.
stock in there, you're losing money.
Yes. But keep those in mind what it was because I want to show you something a little bit later on a couple just in a few minutes here. What our company, our holding company, our parent company for Century 21, how they did compared to all of these companies. And
These
it's pretty interesting. So again, the thing to note for Zillow, they're down. They did not do well at all. Redfin revenue is $600 million, only up 11%. They lost money, net income $90 million. That's a 376% decrease year over year.
mhm.
So they are like they are just in they're in the
Tank.
tank,
They're in the hole.
man. And then earnings per share is minus 83 cents, so down
That's down
300.
300%.
Yeah, 315%. That is insane. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Minus 90 million, minus 83 cents earnings per share.
So,
That's Redfin.
yeah.
And
So I
then we
hope you
have,
don't have stock in here at any of
yeah,
these.
check Open Door. So Open Door,
This
if you're not
this company should
familiar,
be gone. This
I
company
know.
should absolutely be gone. I have no idea why they're even a publicly traded company anymore. They need to be
I
kicked off.
yeah. Open Door is a company. So basically what they do, if you're selling a house, you have the option if you want to go through Open Door. They will, and sometimes they'll contact you directly, but you can go through Open Door. They'll give you a direct offer on your home, and sometimes it might look good on paper. Sometimes they're going to sort of lowball it, but what's going to happen? Their whole premise of what they do is they give you an offer. It's a quick closing. They come in and then they take possession of the house. So you can go on and, they sell it to you. So you don't have the headache to do any of this. You don't have to go through this whole
Mhm.
process. We'll just give you the, price for your home. And then what they do is they take the home, they come in. Sometimes they'll clean it up. Sometimes I've seen them paint some of the houses. I've seen them do nothing to a house. I've seen them do, some stuff to
Just
that. So
replace the carpet.
yeah,
Just a little
it
dollar a
depends.
square foot carpet.
Yep,
That's it.
yep. And then they basically flip it. They put it back on the market, and then
At a
they sell it.
at a
So
ridiculously higher. So pretty much what they're hoping is the market's doing this is going up into an angle, and
right.
so they'll buy it here, and then
Yep.
as the market's going up, they'll list it up here and
Yep.
wait for the market to come up.
So
But
yeah,
the
they're
problem
trying
with
to
that
buy
is,
it low, and then they're hoping the market is going to continue to grow,
mhm,
and the home prices are going to go up, and then then they're going to turn
yeah,
around and sell it.
yep,
But when you see their numbers, let's see just how successful they are at doing this. Not very
not as
successful.
successful.
I'm sorry,
They
but any company that loses $1 billion during the height of a real estate like boom,
boom,
I mean, when you're losing almost $1 billion, something ain't going right there for you, Open
no.
Door. I'm
Yeah,
just
same thing
saying.
with like Zillow. Zillow had the exact same platform or the exact same
Mm-hmm.
model, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why they closed
Yeah.
because they just were not making it. Whereas
Yep.
like Open Door here is year over year over 1,000% loss
Yes.
on
1,500% down on net income. That is just
and the earnings per share.
insane. Yeah,
Again, some of these companies they just need to be gone. They need
I
to
know.
disappear.
Well, and if
If
they
you
don't
fail, you fail.
if Open Door doesn't get it together, I mean, they will be at risk of being kicked off of um
The
out of the stock
Nasdaq, I
program. Yeah,
think.
the
Yeah.
NASDAQ and all that. So
They're not
you know,
gonna
you
get to get it together. They've opened up a mortgage company, they've opened up a title company, same thing with Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin. They've all opened up separate sections of businesses, and it's just like stick to one thing. They're too big.
yeah.
They're
Let's
trying to
see
take
what
over the world.
Open Door stock right now is $1.66 per share. Let's go look at their five. Yeah, they've done nothing but decline. So
Just
if you go back
tank.
to 2021, check that out. They were at $34 at the peak, $34.59, and now they're at $1.66. Nothing but decline. They had a decline through 2021, and then a little bit of an uptick right at the end of 2021, and then just completely just for
Yeah,
the
they
rest of
sold
the
all their
time.
shit.
Yeah.
They're trying to save, so they sold all
Yep.
their shit.
So
They took heavy losses.
it makes sense. I mean, they're down. Their net income is down $1 billion. Earnings per share is down $1.47. It's insane. If you're thinking about selling to Open Door, don't do it.
Don't, because
Do
you're
not
not
do
gonna
it.
make any money.
You're not going to
You're
make any
not.
money. They're going to give you. They're going to entice you with a really good price, and then they're going to come in and nickel and dime you. It's like, oh well, we
Oh yeah,
gotta.
and
Your
once the
walls are.
moment you sign,
Yeah.
you've lost. The
Yeah.
moment you sign, you've lost
Yeah.
because you're allowing them to adjust the price.
You will end up losing more. They will end up taking more away from their purchase price than you would have to a
Pay a
real estate
commission.
agent in commission.
Yep.
Yes. So, and it's gonna turn out to be a headache. So
Yep.
don't do it. I beg you,
Don't
don't
recommend
do
it.
it. Don't do it.
Yep.
If you're thinking about it, call one of us and at least get some more information about it, because Chris and I both have experience with working with Open Door. And so at least call us and get some more information before, if you're hard set on pulling the trigger with them, at least get some other information about
Any
what
of
you're going to
them.
get into.
Any of them. Offer pad included.
Yeah,
Because
offer
look,
pads, the
they're
same
in the
thing.
hole.
Yes.
They're in the
So
hole.
they're
$80 million.
yep, $80 million down, which is down 422% year over year. Earnings per share is down 32 cents, which is 146% down year over year. Had a little bit of revenue, $821 million, but honestly, for these companies, that's not
Revenue
really
means really nothing when your net
nothing. Yeah,
income is nothing,
yeah.
where you owe money.
Hmm. So yeah, I mean, you can do all the revenue. Like, I mean, heck, I could go out and sell $10 million worth of homes. That's my revenue, and then only make still be in the hole. So it just the revenue doesn't really mean a whole lot. You're operating at a loss at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Compass, they revenue 1.49, but they're down. Net income is down $154
Mm-hmm.
million. Earnings per
So
share down 15
Compass
cents.
Compass is a realtor platform where it's pretty
Mm,
much like for real estate agents. They came on in the middle of the pandemic and everything, if not before that. Um, and they had a pretty decent model, but it wasn't a long lasting standing model. Their model is just really based on growth, just like EXP, which I believe is next. If you want to show that one,
yep.
EXP is the same thing. Um, think of it as a very unique, interesting pyramid scheme. So
Yeah.
multi, it just goes up,
Well, hey, I mean,
and
you
so
check out their logo here. It's got a little pyramid right there.
yeah. So they're still in the green, but they're down 81%, or is that a 91%? And their net per
81.
share.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, net
it,
income
it
4.4 million. Yeah.
so Compass and XP is really reliant on agents,
Hmm.
doing work. And if the bulk of the agents out there only do like 1 to 3 deals per year with an average of a 3-year career, and then when the market shifts, no one's doing work. Everyone's
Right.
going to go look for work. All
Yeah.
right. Something more
Yep.
stable. So
Yep.
they don't know how to handle this downturn. So only the strong will survive.
Yep.
And so companies like this, they're just not going to be able to thrive in the waters like this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And yeah, their revenue is 1.24 billion, but like we said before, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Look at their net income, 4.4 million bucks. I mean, that's like us making $100 for the year. It's just it's literally nothing. It's nothing. Earnings per share,
yeah,
they are in the green on it, but only 3 cents. But they're still year over year, they're down
down.
80%. 80%.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip over. I'll come back to that other one. I want to look at Remax. So Remax is obviously another realty company, realtor
Very
company.
famous, very popular.
Yep, I'm sure most of you or all of you've heard of Remax at some point. You see their signs out there in front of houses.
Hmm. Hmm.
Revenue $88 million, not a whole lot.
It's okay.
Net income 140,000. I mean, that's like what'd you
Hey,
make?
that's a plus.
You made like 50 cents last year. Okay, cool. It's literally nothing. They did not
Yeah.
make any money. Earnings per share 1 penny.
Yeah. They have
You know,
individual agents who made more than that.
which that's funny. They're up
You know what I mean? That's
a hundred.
funny.
Yeah.
They
What?
have individual agents that
Oh,
made
that's
more than their
yeah,
own parent company.
yeah. That is kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. So yeah, you would have an
Yeah.
agent that might make $400,000 or $500,000,
Of net
and
income.
and and the company itself only made 140.
Yep.
And they have employees to pay. They have this. They
Hmm.
have bills, expenses, all that. Crazy. So all that said, I wanted to show this one last. Um, so
This is our
real,
company.
yes, this is Century 21. This is who own. I'm not too sure of the structure. If it's like is it a parent company that owns it, or is it? I don't know like what the exact structure of it is, but either way,
Mm.
Realogy is it owns or is a parent company of Century 21. James
Mhm.
Clark, our broker, probably knows a little bit more about the structure and how
Yeah.
that all works. But just when you see Realogy, know that it's basically Century 21. Check out our
Yeah,
numbers.
as well as other companies, like I think Berkshire Hathaway is part of it, and then
Yeah,
several other really big real estate companies are all part
right.
of Realogy.
Yep.
And so, as you can see here, our company made the most net income,
Yes.
and we still took a loss.
We still
Every
took a
company,
loss.
make no mistake, no
Yes.
company is going to thrive on a plus side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when it comes to a shifting market like this, there's just
Right.
not.
Right.
So, but who's going to have the better strategy when it comes to during the shift and minimize your losses? And Realogy did just that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, their net income 55 million for the year, and then earnings per
hmm,
share, the highest one out of what we just showed you, which is and we're at,
hmm,
positive
48 cents.
48 cents. So, again, still down year over year, but didn't take as big of a hit as everybody else. So,
So, What did I tell you? Like,
they're doing
we're
something
doing
right.
something right, and the
Yeah.
agents who are with them, they're all doing the work. They're all doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
We're
I
making our
like to
company
think
money. We're
I like to
happy. We're
think that
happy
you and I
employees.
contributed a little bit to that $55 million of net
Well,
income.
as two agents who are number one in their offices, we've
Oh
definitely
yeah.
helped a little bit.
Heck yeah, number one, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Dude, I can't believe that. How many you guys got quite a few agents over in your office too, right?
Yes, we
Or
have
is it
quite a
just
few
you?
agents, but right? No. So there's only a small handful of heavy hitters. Everyone else is just kind of like part-time or
Gotcha.
fell off the wagon. Because
Yeah.
we've had as much as like 60 plus agents.
Oh
And
wow.
when I heard that, I was just like, where are they?
Right.
And James, the broker, was just like, working. Don't don't know. So you get all
Yeah.
these people who want to get into the game thinking they're gonna make $1 million, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's very difficult, and they're all gone.
Yeah.
And if you look at the production reports, like for me, being the top agent of my office is I didn't really strive for it. Two, I didn't try nearly as hard as I could have.
Yeah.
And so like I only did like 13, 14 units. That's not a lot. So
I beat you on units. I got 15, buddy.
yeah, see, it's not a lot, but I'm still number one in
15.
my office. I actually
Yeah.
still sold in terms of sales
Right.
volume. I still
Yep.
beat you in sales
Yeah,
volume.
you did. You did. But I also fly for a living.
Well, just sip that cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyways,
But
that's
it's
all
just
we
like
got.
it really, like I said, it really comes down to it. Like the strong will survive this downturn, this shift, and you got to watch out for the desperate agents. Ask them how many units they've done. Ask them how many years they've been in the business.
Yeah.
Ask them regarding market statistics, and just be educated when you ask these questions, so you know what the answers are.
Yeah.
And then
Or what they
see how
should
they
be.
respond. Like
Yep.
so. Avoid the
Yeah.
desperate because they're only thinking about themselves first.
Always interview a couple agents, at least 2, if not 3. Always.
Mhm.
And when you hopefully, when you either interview us first, last, second, doesn't matter. You'll see the
Yeah. Also, ask
difference.
for referrals. Like
Yeah.
if you're looking to sell your house or your property, ask them for listing referrals.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. You're going to
so
need it this year if you're selling a house. I mean, to be honest, and I'm
you
not
have
trying to
to. Oh
promote
my god.
myself. I'm not trying to promote Chris. I'm just saying if you're going to sell your house, you have to get somebody on your team, because just the home price, when you price your home this year, that's going to be probably the most important factor when it comes to sell your house. So obviously there's a lot of other important factors, but I think price point it's going to have to be spot on this year, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to follow the market trends as they change on a weekly basis in some
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not on top of it, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the tools to follow that kind of stuff, then man, you're going to be behind the game, behind the 8 ball all the time, and you're going to be playing catch up. So you got to have somebody on your team, whether it is myself or Chris, or not. Just get somebody that you trust on your
Mm-hmm.
team to sell your house, because
It's
this year
important. It's
it's
important.
going to be tough. It's going
Yeah.
to be tough for us too, to be honest. I mean, it's going to be tough for us to keep up with these trends, because they are going to be changing rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to have to be on top of our game. We're going to have to hone our skills. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Chris, this year I think we're going to have to like really dial it in
Yeah.
and make
After
sure
the
that
past like
everything.
year or two, my blade got pretty chopped
Yeah.
up. So I need
Yeah.
to sit down and like you said, start honing the blade, get it back to a
Yep.
fine point, and that
Yeah.
way become a master carpenter again, or a cutter.
Yep. There's some people that cut tomatoes with sharp knives, and some people that still using
That
that old dull
squished
knife,
tomatoes,
and
and
that's
then no,
squished, and they squish it, and they're like, here's your tomato. Go with the sharp knife. Go with the
yeah,
sharp knife. And on that note,
I
let's
like
get
that.
out of here. Let's get out of here.
Deuces.
All right, man. See ya.
Deuce.